Hello and welcome to the first of my broadcast direct from Pune, India, where I'm going to share with you a little bit of the teaching here. Today I want to expand on what I wrote in the post about Abhijata's observation about the way we're approaching our practice. And at this point, I just want to stress that I'm not quoting Abhijata word for word. I'm just wanting to share with you what I've taken away from what she shared with us during class. So as I mentioned in the post earlier about that she gave this visual of the horse wearing the binders. So we can't see anything except his end goal. This is focused on the end goal. And she likened this to how we approach our practice. She's in the hall with us daily, watching how we're practicing, which you might think is a little daunting, but there are 80 to 100 of us all there, so hopefully she's not got her eye directly on me, but she does see how we practice. She sees the way we're approaching our practice, and my understanding of what she's seeing is that it's rigid, it's short-sighted, it lacks exploration and some sort of freedom or openness or willingness. What happens? We tend to learn a pose, trikonasana, for example. We say, I know how to do that pose, and then we just do it that one way that we know with confidence. And we stick with that one way because we know it feels good, it's safe, it's working for us. But we become attached and we just hold on to this one method. And then we are essentially putting a full stop on it. We're just saying, that's how it is and that's it. And this is where we go wrong. This is why we're getting bored with our practice. This is why it becomes stagnant, or perhaps why we're not progressing. So imagine every time you practice that you practice the pose like you've never done it before. Practice it like it's never finished, like you can't reach the end. There's always something more. Practice it like you're going to squeeze every bit of juice out, knowing there's more juice to squeeze out the next time. So I'd like to make this a little bit practical so that it's something you can apply in your own practice. I'm going to take trikonasana and let's just look at how we might be practicing it right now and how you can break out of that and mix it up a little bit and inspire your practice. We all know the classical way into trikonasana. It's probably how many of you practice your trikonasana every single day. So it's as simple as doing things like, okay, maybe today I'm going to put my hand on the brick, and the brick's high. How does that change the trikonasana? What can I get from the pose with my hand on the brick? Or perhaps you're going to bring your hand onto the floor. What do I gain from bringing my hand on the floor? What do I compromise in the pose when I bring my hand on the floor in my trikonasana? So as well as the classical way, we have often doing dog pose, and then stepping the foot up for trikonasana. So add that in and see what happens when I step the foot up for trikonasana. What do I get from the pose when I do it that way? And you don't have to do it just once. Do it 5 times. In, down, out, other side, up, down, back, quickly. And then see how that works the hips, how it lightens the hips, frees the hips up and gives more movement there. Third way, Prasarita. Then you can go into your trikonasana from here. So you make this like your tadasana. This is your neutral pose in between each standing pose. Then you turn the foot out and go into trikonasana. How does that make the trikonasana different? What happens when you go into your trikonasana this way? And you can do all of your standing poses like this. Back through Prasarita, turn the foot out, warrior 2. Come back down, change. I think you get the gist. So this is just 3 ways that you can start to practice trikonasana. There's even simple things like you might just go into the pose and hold it for 5 breaths. So what happens if you go into the pose, come out, go down, come up, go down, hand on the floor, come up, hand on the shin, come up, hand on the floor, come up. What happens if you take your hand further forward? Come up. What happens if you take your hand further back? Come up. Just to play around with it, to explore, and just to really open everything up. This is what we did in class the other day. We went from
Dog pose. I'm just going to show you on the left side here so you can see the position of the leg. We went from dog pose. We did a big jump and take the foot right in front of the hand. So the hand's in front and then turn the body up. And then we had to do this jumping back, jumping up many times. So definitely not classical, taking the hand in front and this big step forward, but different. And there was, a whole lot to learn about what we got from the pose by doing it that way. Now, of course, I've just given you this whole bunch of ideas about how you can play with your trikonasana. But of course, we don't want to be like a child in a candy store, tasting all the different flavors of trikonasana and making ourselves ill. The idea here is to just open the box, explore a little wider, go beyond what's comfortable, and try a new way. Play with it, observe what happens in your body, ask questions, look at what's happening, how it changes, what it gives, what it loses, and then try something else. Be cautious, but be open and adventurous as well. And remember that yoga is a spiritual practice. It's not just a physical practice. So with everything you do, be curious, be open, observe yourself, and practice. Namaste.